Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick video on how to put your tacho onto your HT leads. If you buy the kit from us, you'll get one of these, which inside the packet will come with the tacho itself. There is a small piece of heat shrink tubing in here that will aid in keeping the wire on the HT lead. So the first thing you need to do is obviously unpack the unit from the box. Take off the red wire and just make sure that you haven't got any tangles in the rest of the loom before attaching it onto the HT lead. If you just untangle the red lead and just make sure there's no breaks in it or anything like that before we get started, it will make it easier to fix it onto the lead to begin with. Okay, so just set that to one side for a minute. Now your Tacho HT lead, depending on what system or what lead you have fitted, if you've got the standard ones, they'll come fitted with this kind of plastic elbow on there. If you're going to take these off, it might be a good time to think about either upgrading your leads or your caps to slightly better quality ones. So first thing you need to do is these caps here, they actually just unscrew off the lead. So if you just grab hold of the lead, just make sure that you don't twist the lead, and it's normally about 6 or 8 turns to take these off, and just give it a little pull and it should come. And you should see in there, it's quite difficult to see, but there is actually a threaded pin on the lead. Next thing to do is just to take this little cap off. Just put those both to one side for a minute. And on the lead, this one here I've got is a slightly better quality Hypalon lead. It's multi-stranded as opposed to the standard Tacho one, which has kind of got 3 or 4 little strands inside it. So once you've got your lead and everything removed, next thing to do is to go back to your tacho, and you will need to get this red wire here, and what you'll need to do is give it about, I don't know, 2 inches up from where the cap goes on, and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns on the lead. And it's a good idea to try and kind of follow the lead back towards the motor side. Then if you get your heat shrink sleeve and just try and open it up a little bit just to make it easier to get on, so just squeeze it in your fingers, and then it should just about go over the wrappings on the lead. Okay, so I'm just going to try and leave that on nice and gently. Okay. Okay, so what you want to do is try and get the winding in kind of the middle of the jacket. Just keep kind of twisting it in. It will go, it's fairly straightforward. Okay, so once we've done that, this end I'd probably equal it up in the middle just to make sure that you've got plenty of lead left on the both ends, A, to go into your coil, B, to get your cap back on. And then you'll need a heat gun. This is just a kind of fairly standard thing. And then if you just heat this shrink sleeve up with a gun, well, you can see that it's actually pulling the heat shrinking over the lead. Okay, get that, and I'll just square up this lead just so it looks a bit tidier. Okay, So once that's done, you can see we've got a nice tidy lead. Red lead is obviously going to go back through the engine cowling. So to put your cap back on, it's a good idea to just trim the end of the lead with a set of cutters. Not much, just kind of a few mil, just so you get a nice clean end on the lead. And then you'll want to kind of WD-40 and just to give the end of the lead a little bit of a spray. You need to then put the lead back on, the rubber boot back onto the lead. The WD-40 will aid that going back on. And then once you've done that, we've actually got this is like a electrical high performance corrosion block grease. So these are not very expensive, you can get them from our shop, so I'll put a link up with that as well. So if you've got a new bottle, just snip a little bit off the top, not loads, just like a silicone gun so you can get a little bit of product out. And then what we tend to do is not put it on the actual lead, is just to feed a little bit of that onto the kind of the Hypalon or the rubber part of the lead, just so it insulates and keeps the water out but doesn't actually interfere with the contact onto the screw. You'll find that it will aid with stopping water getting into your lead. Again, these are just the standard plastic ones. We do stock the rubber NGK leads. You can get these resisted or unresisted depending on what plugs you're using. Go into that a bit deeper at some other point. So then this little screw wants to go onto this little bit here, so just push that in to the lead, make sure it's central, so just kind of double check it. Yeah, that's going on there. Okay, push it in and twist it on there. And then again, a good idea to do is put some of the grease into this area here, just so it stops any kind of moisture getting in there. Just going to poke that in. And then this little boot should go back over this section of the HT lead. And that is pretty much the lead ready to go back into your coil. With these kind of Tacho ignition coils, they are similar system, but in this end they have a pin rather than a screw terminal. So what you need to do with this end here is to make sure that the lead is kind of flush with the end, so just clip it off. And then these are normally glued into here, so you'll need to get some 2-part, normally like an epoxy resin is the easiest thing to do it. So this comes in like a 2-part, so you mix equal quantities, but before you put the epoxy onto the lead, it's a good idea to try and source. We do actually sell this, we do a coil kit with the HTs and everything. This is a glue filled heat shrink, so put that onto your lead first, do your kind of gluing on here, make sure that you don't get any right on the end, just actually put it on this part of the lead, and then this wants to go onto the pin, and then once the epoxy's actually gone off, if you get this heat shrink tubing, this will actually go over the coil and make you a really kind of nice waterproof seal on this end of the coil. So that's pretty much it. What I'll do is I'll do another video on how to set the tacho up. There's a couple of little things that you need to do, but that basically shows you how to do it. So okay, so we're aiming for this sort of nice tidy wiring. Okay.